Howdy y'all, happy Saturday. Today I want to go over a little chapter from Reality Transurfing. This is a book by Vadim Zeland. I think I've gone over it before, but maybe I'll post something about it. So you guys can go buy the book. It's about 800 pages of goodness, and it'll teach you quite a bit. So, what is a pendulum? Well, it's something that you most definitely have experienced. Something everybody's experienced, but probably no one talks about. Pendulum is any type of energetic thought structure that a group or even one person can give energy to, and this creates a swaying of energy back and forth between two poles, two extremes. And if you think what I just said is hubbubaloo, you're probably right. But here's an example that I hope will make sense. The most recent presidential election, whatever you want to call it, interview, debate, whatever it is, two sides talking about same issues, but they got different viewpoints, and it keeps swinging to one side and then the other, and back this way and back again. And the whole time, it gets just stronger and stronger. And that's what a pendulum is. Because the more time and the more energy and the more people that are flowing all that consciousness into this structure, the stronger and more violent a pendulum gets. And most of the time, pendulums are not good. Usually they're bad because it's an energetic structure that will take from you but rarely gives back. So that's why I put down below positives and negatives, because it is an energy-based thought structure, right? At the end of the day, you only have so much juice in your brain per day to put into things. So I guess the question we should start asking is, what pendulums are we subscribing to? Well, I don't know about you guys, but I've had some bad ones in the past, all right? Drinking could be a pendulum. The whole idea, the thought that we need to have fun on the weekends, guys. And the way to have fun is going out to the bars, drinking and smoking and hanging out with ladies that are probably well below your means and all that good shit. All right, that would be one pendulum. Maybe another one that I've suffered heavily at my entire life is sports. I've been good at sports, but for the life of me, I could not care fucking less. If I wanted to watch a bunch of grown black men get paid millions of dollars to throw around a football, well, I would just invent a time machine, wouldn't I? Oof, that one might not go over so hot. But that's okay, because this channel is a pendulum. I'm supposed to piss you off. Give me your energy. I need your energy, right? It just makes me do crazy stuff. But yeah, other than that, like, everything in life is a pendulum. And that's the beauty of life, is that everything is a pendulum. And once we learn what a pendulum is, now we can start tapping into it, because a pendulum can be positive. Think about those study groups when you were in college, high school, whenever it was. You have a bunch of people together all focused on getting a higher grade. Well, the focus on getting a higher grade is as well a pendulum, and you're all giving your energy to it, and as a result, that sharing of energy actually helps you get a better grade. Maybe it's because you thought you were studying so hard, or it's from all that energy going into the thought of getting a higher grade that caused you to get a higher grade. But that itself is a pendulum. Being in shape is a pendulum. Drinking water instead of drinking alcohol, sobriety, that's a pendulum. Saving money, that's a pendulum. Everything you could possibly imagine in life is a pendulum. There is nothing that isn't. So, once you understand that, we can start transurfing through reality, because now we know these things are going to steal your fucking energy. They are trying to steal your juice. So, if we can figure out the pendulums that steal our juice, push those away. The ones that give us juice, bring those in, right? So, as I've covered in prior episodes, some of the things that may potentially give you that juice would be the working out, the meditations, the journaling, the shadow work, the reading of books, anything where there is a positive benefit to you, to the individual, irrespective of anyone else involved, that would be a good pendulum, because you're getting that thought energy right back. It's like direct manifestation. All right, so next I want to get into an advanced pendulum, and this is when we start to go down the rabbit hole of what a pendulum is, and this is where shit gets fucking weird, and this is why society, I genuinely believe, is kind of falling apart. So I want to throw it back to back in the day. So let's, for example, do Nixon versus JFK. They're running for president. There's a whole pendulum at the time of the civil rights movement, okay? So MLK down in Tulsa, I believe he's arrested. JFK goes down there, tries to get him out before Nixon can get down there, and it changes the entire outcome of the race, right? It was that moment that the Democratic Party became the Civil Rights Party. And civil rights at the time was a huge ticket item. It was a pendulum, right? But now today, you fast forward, back then, let's talk about the pendulum of just civil rights. This is like basic voting rights, getting non-segregation amongst schools, bathrooms, other things, the ability to ride on a bus and not be segregated to the back. Just like common decency and things that us white people probably should have done a long fucking time ago. But it took us a little bit long because, we're being ran by the Zionists. It is what it is. And they don't want to help anybody. They only care about themselves. So back then, it was just for basic rights. But an advanced pendulum is, as time goes on, it gets deeper and more advanced. There's more thought energy going into it. So once upon a time, it was just rights for people of a different skin tone. Now we have people trying to change genders. We have people trying to change their pronouns. Maybe instead of just a gender, they're trying to change their species altogether. This is another pendulum, right? But this one's even more vicious because it's more ridiculous. And I understand to those people that are, they're transitioning or they don't know what's going on in their life. I get it. I understand you're a little bit lost at the moment. It's all fine. It's all G, baby. But the point being that it is an advanced pendulum, because your confusion, albeit I'm not going to argue with it, confuses the ever-living fuck out of way more people than anything else did before. See, back in the day, civil rights, that makes sense. To anyone that has a conscience, it makes sense that you should treat everyone the same. However, nowadays, you bring into this whole argument, well, wait, I have a freedom of speech, so I should be able to speak as I want, and yet I have people telling me what I should say, even though I have to affirm something to them if they can't even affirm it for themselves. So it doesn't make sense, and it's just stealing all my thoughts, all my time, all my energy, and it's just confusing. So when I say advanced pendulum, I don't mean that the pendulum went and graduated high school and then went off to get a fucking useless degree in school for $60K a year. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the pendulum just grew a little chin scruff here. It's just a little more argumentative. It doesn't make as much sense. It's got some angst to it. The hormones are fucking raging, and now we have to deal with it. Another example of this pendulum could be Trump versus Biden. Usually, you would just have conservative versus liberal. People would say, oh, those are the people that are money grubbing and all they care about is themselves and nationalism on one side, the capitalists. And then on the other side, you have the socialist, the globalist agenda, where it's like, okay, we're all humans, no one's illegal, let's just kumbaya, right? And that's what it used to be. And now it has become probably the largest pendulum the world's ever seen is Donald Trump. Just putting that one out here. And the reason I'm saying that is just his name alone can elicit such emotion, such energy-based thought, that it ruins people's day, or it makes people's day. I mean, the one side, they can't even stand the man. They think he should be killed, he should be in prison, he's a terrible guy, orange man bad, had sex with a porn star, whatever it is, all that garbage. Right? And then the other side, they're like, oh, well, your guy's corrupt and blah, 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 and like Ukraine and faulty war funds and all this bullshit. Right? It's just a super advanced pendulum. That's all it is. It's energy, and we are giving it our thought. The whole point of this video is not to get political. It is not to piss people off. It is to make you conscious of the fact of how much energy you consciously send off to all these other things in your life that are not so much benefiting you. These are all pendulums. And yes, most of the time it's negative, but they can be positive. Okay? And that's why we need to become very conscious of these pendulums and where and how we are spending our energy with them. If it is conducive to our future and we are growing and we are becoming better because of it, then yes, we should probably partake in the pendulum. This would be like us studying. This would be like going to the gym. This would be like having a healthy habit of going for a morning run or drinking water in the morning, whatever it may be. Whatever it may be, yoga practice. A healthy pendulum. Versus a negative one, which is like that mindset I mentioned before, where it's like, oh, I have to go out and drink. I have to go out and do this with my friends. I have to go do this and put my thought energy into it. Blah, blah, blah. Anything where you're losing energy and not receiving energy back, we need to start becoming conscious of. This is part of energy protection. You know, and also with energy protection versus expansion, I want to talk about interpersonal skills real quick and communication. So imagine you're with a friend, someone that agrees with you, someone who sees the dream, sees the passion, sees the future reality that you want to experience. This would be an example of expansion, because now you can give your thought energy to that future experience, that pendulum, and they can as well, but you're both pushing it from the same side. You see where you want to go, there's no opposite force. Whereas protection would be, you start talking about your dreams and passion, and somebody else starts pushing back. So you say, oh yeah, I would love to start this business. And you start going this way. And then they say, oh yeah, but starting a business is so hard, right? And they push it back. And what does the pushback require? Well, now you have to take that statement, diffuse it, and then push it back again. And then just say, oh, well, yeah, I can start a business though, because, you know, I read all those books and I'm a hardworking individual. Yeah, but a lot of people are hardworking. That doesn't mean they always get their dreams, right? Firstly, let me just say, if anybody talks like that, fuck your face. Like, just fuck your face. Stop being so negative, all right? But you need to protect your energy. There are people like this that no matter what it is, no matter how positive you are, they will fight against you. They will tell you, no, you cannot do that because I cannot do that. They will never admit to this, but that's generally what they're doing. They're just admitting that they're a loser and they don't want you to succeed, okay? So be conscious of the pendulum so we can protect our energy or expand our energy. And then the final thing that I want to state is a pendulum is renting out your consciousness at your expense. So every day when you wake up, I want you to realize that picking up your phone as the first thing you do next to you is a pendulum. If the first thing you do is go and drink from a cup of water, that is also a pendulum, okay? Because it is a thought energy structure. You wake up and the thought enters your mind, hey, I need to hydrate. Where did you get the idea of hydrating in the morning? Probably from somebody else, probably on the health guru side. That in itself is a pendulum. Just like checking your phone and doom scrolling is a pendulum. Realize that we as humans are completely rented out for the most part. Mindfulness is the understanding of consciousness and where we put our thought energy. All right? So let's start being more mindful, go through our day and look at what pendulums we are subscribing to. Look how much energy is being rented out from us to the pendulum, right? And by the way, rent is a fucking scam. It's sunk costs. You don't get any equity. Equity means your ownership of something. Well, if we're being rented out here, we don't have any ownership of it. We're just being used and then discarded by this pendulum. So that's why it's so important. We have to become conscious of the pendulums and how our energy is being rented out or utilized. If it's being utilized, this is a good pendulum, a good thought structure that we should be giving our energy to. Giving our energy to it will benefit us in the long run. So guys, this is a short one on pendulums. I mean, this chapter takes hours to read, so I'm probably going to make more videos on it. Hopefully with less jokes in there that might be offensive. But that's okay. That's fine. We love it here. Yeah, so let me know if you have any questions about pendulums. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. Literally anything that you could possibly give thought energy to is a pendulum. Almost everything in life is a pendulum. Become conscious, guys. You, other side of the screen, you right now are watching a video. This is a thought energy structure. You are giving it your energy. After this video is over, where is your energy going to go? And is it benefiting you? Ask yourself that question. Love you guys. See you tomorrow.